Okay, how's everybody doing? How's Rodge?
I'm good. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button.
Well, I'm glad wasn't a nuclear explosion or something. You know, not one of those buttons, but I guess you don't have access to that, so we're okay.
Not yet.
And Nikolai, welcome. Hello.
Hi, hello, Val.
Yes.
Yes, I'm in a hurry to get to a hospital,
Oh,
and
what's going on?
no, I've got an appointment, but I misjudged some public transport because I don't drive. So now I'm waiting for another connection to go, and yeah, well, basically I've got a liver problem. I've got a fatty liver disease, and it's just a regular well, they discovered it 6 months ago or something, so it's an appointment. I don't know actually what it is. They'll tell me off probably what to eat or what not to eat, which I already know, but yes, I need to go. So yeah, I'm just short here. I don't know, when I get into the overground I still can talk, but sometimes the connection gets a little bit funny. So if I disappear, yeah, just
Okay.
to let you know where. Yeah.
Okay. What city are you in?
I'm in London, UK.
London. Okay. Right.
Oh, there was some, I think, was his Eric Gamer? He tried to phone me a couple of times at 5 a.m., which normally I'm on the real. So I don't know. I hope he's not disappointed. I haven't answered twice, obviously. At 5 a.m. is a bit difficult. In the very rare occasions, yes, I might be awake if I do some work till very, very late, and then I sleep the whole day. But he pushed it a little bit too much, I think.
He may not know the time difference.
Probably he doesn't realize that I live in UK and I'm on the other side of the world.
Yes.
From him, yeah. In case.
He's in San Diego near us, so
Yeah,
he probably doesn't know.
I follow, was it something called the Big Brain Experience, which he does with DUANE and some other people from time to time, and I was following that, and I realized, okay, maybe he doesn't realize.
Yeah, he's a gamer. He's like well known in the world about plays these video games and all that. Makes money off of them. And
oh, that's interesting. I do play games, but not. I don't make money from them. I just play in my spare time, and I don't like it anymore. But since I spent some money in those games, kind of when you invested some money, you don't. It's very difficult to part with them. Yeah, I play something like Star Wars, but only this, not anything else, and it still takes quite a lot of time of mine, which I don't like, and probably at some point I do realize how stupid it is. But if he makes money, well, great. At least he's using that skill. I don't make money from it.
yeah, but the main thing is he's open to Rebizar. Is he's open to the experiences, and Rebizar is contacting him, and the real guides are working with him. So he's real.
Yes. I do realize that. I heard from DUANE when I had a session with DUANE alone back in the summer. He told me about him, but I haven't still managed to contact him because he's on the other side of the world. And I think when they do this is exactly 4 or 5 a.m. A couple of times he rang me, and I saw as well when the recording has finished of those big brains. They're normally at the time I'm in the Rio. Yes. Yeah.
Well, let me give it over to Peter, who's leading the discussion here. You in a good place, Peter?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful out. Cold though. 50s this last night in Florida.
Okay, that's cold for Florida.
Yeah, and
Even
it's a
here.
real nice, healthy wind blowing right now. And sitting out in the shack that I built to house some music and books and art a little bit. And the tree fell down on this. One of the tree, a big branch, is sitting on top of the roof, on the edge of the roof. It's done no damage, and the other branches, everything that's fallen, has been cleaned up. But it all missed all the structures. And so I got a visit from a man delivering UPS, and I walked him around a little bit. And he goes, "Wow," he's looking around. We had trees cut in half, split in half, or the tops, mostly the top half gets broke off, which is kind of spectacular looking, especially we got one that's sitting in the yard. Actually, I might be able to walk over and look at it. I've got a reason for saying about this, so, but yeah, it does have something to do with a certain amount of protection or something along those lines of because it doesn't really matter if the house got hurt or not, whatever. It's really not the point that, saying that it's like some kind of hand of God protecting bull crap, because everything is just what it is. And yes, we can put ourselves in a position where we can be a little bit less damaged, we'll say, and or observe what actually happened and be wise to that. So, okay, I'm going to put the video on, not that it matters, but I'll walk around. And I want to see if I can actually do this while we're talking. Here's my shed.
Is the storm gone? Did it?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's all
now?
gone.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
This last storm went out to sea across the middle of Tampa, Orlando, Disney World. It didn't do any damage to Disney World, and went out to sea. I don't really know why Disney World didn't get damaged. It seems to me it was justifiable. There's the tree. Is that clear at all?
Yeah. Yeah, we see them. Yeah.
Just
What kind of trees are these? What kind of conifers? What kind of trees you got?
It's a pine tree.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. See, there's where it came from, way up there. And blew down, and I turn around this way, see it blew down this way, and the house is right here. So our whole property is filled with white flowers everywhere. And it's just beautiful, but it's funny business all the way around. So, okay.
Your power line was intact, huh? Your power?
Power line is right there. And then
yeah, it was intact.
No problem with that this time. We've had storms that knocked these transformers out, but this is the tree that we cut down, or the big branch was right up there. You see, those two, and this one came down right along the side path of the house. There's the house, and it came down right here. No damage to anything. And we got these beautiful chairs now that I built. I didn't build. Funny, I said that by mistake. Because if you think about it, most everything we experience is us. What we did. We made. And there's no good reason to say not, because actually we make all of the convolutions and confrontations and values and associations, and hey, that's that's the deal. So okay, that's a little walk around. Thank you, Val, for being able to share that. I wanted to share something with you in reference to this. That was about the trip that you took yesterday or 2 days ago, where you went up in the mountains and kind of did a little side journey. I don't know if I call it a side journey, maybe it's the main journey, but you started up where we had and I went up and created the Sunrise Trail link up with the old El Camino Real, which is the trail that the missions were made on in the Spanish missions all along Baja and Mexico, called what they call the El Camino Real. So these missions were all built all up along the courses, the coast, as trail stations. So we were doing something very similar, and the real mission, though, has nothing to do with trails or the experiences of hiking necessarily, or not, but generally speaking, because what it really is what we represent is something much larger. So Mr. Valentine, as the Mexicans call him, hiked up around this mountain on the edge in the valley of it, or the gulches, Cerro Gordo. And I was calling it the Golden Mountain, but there's actually two mountains up there, generally, peaks that is, but one is definitely mountainous looking from the ocean. You can see it, and it's looks like a golden mountain. So he went up there and hiked till about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and met some Indians. Correct? Do you want to describe any of that, Val?
Yeah. First of all, I was listening to this YouTube presentation presented by an indigenous person, and he talked about the El Camino. And according to him, everything's just marketing, and these are stories that the controllers made up about the El Camino, and there wasn't really the kind of El Camino that were taught in the history books, where the missions are a day's walk between each one, and they have all kinds of stories about it. But it was like his account was that they were, one was built, the first one in San Diego, at least in the Americas, North America, the United States. And then another one was like 500 miles away, and then back again to San Luis Obispo, and then they were kind of random. Juniper Serra, established these supposedly, but they weren't a day's distance apart, for one thing, and it really wasn't a trail until the controllers came in and established it as one as such, where it really was like a something you could drive a car on, etc. later on. But that's just a side note. But yeah, I see these, I met these, it took me about 9 hours to get there, but it took that one road that I don't think you went that far. We didn't go that far when you and I hiked it, but I went to the intersection of Sanchez Ranch, Mario's. No, maybe we did. Yeah, with the car we did. Yeah, so you saw that intersection where the lots were sale, Sanchez Ranch, and where Mario's property we went into in the car with the driveway there. So there's another road there to the right, which I took, which goes south. And then 3 or 4 hours into that, I came up on a ranch with 2 Indians. And they were dressed as cowboys. I mean, the guy had, the straps, leggings, spurs. These are real cowboys living out in nowhere land, just them and a bunch of cattle and horses and dogs. And they invited me in. I had supper with them. They suggested I don't go back. It's late because there's pumas out there, mountain lions. So me alone, it wouldn't be a good idea. So I spent the night there, had dinner, talked with them. They didn't speak English, so it was kind of rough, but it was fun. We did what we could. But they said that the trail didn't go, it went east. So I was looking for a trail to La Mission, that's the idea of this Sunrise Trail, Primo Tapia to La Mission. But this road led east, and it wouldn't have gotten to La Mission. So that's why I stopped there. And this guy, the Indian said that the Borgia, the Borgia family, the nefarious Borgias from Italy, they own like 4 million acres up there, and this is part of their land. So I decided not to go further and just come back the next day. But it was good meeting. I'm meeting, when I'm hiking up there, I'm meeting all these locals. Like we met Mario and Blas and Violetta and Victorino and all these people. So we're getting to know everybody and they know us. So it's going to be easier to establish something in the future. And while I'm hiking, I have all these ideas that come up because I'm away from the city and all the influences and distractions. So I really get a good, I get some good visions of what I want it to be, for everybody, the trail and how it could be, and eventually it'll happen. So it's going to take a while to establish it. Maybe another lifetime or two, who knows? There's no time factor involved. It's just something I see, and it's going to happen. So thanks for letting me express that, Peter.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you, Val. That's cool, very cool. And I know that there's also an exploration down at the La Mission end coming up. So part of it is the gathering of other individuals and of all different ranks of lifestyle and backgrounds and et cetera. Because there's no evaluation of people dependent on those things, their background or any of their association. It has nothing to do with that, really, and that's great because well, Val, you mentioned that the Indians, cowboys have cattle. And so that's their sustenance also. And I imagine they have milk as well, you'd say. And they had a refrigerator with solar power.
Yeah, refrigerator, solar power, no electricity, of course, no Wi-Fi, but very, primitive conditions because they're way out there. I mean, they have bicycles and they have horses, and they don't have any cars or anything, but they're the caretakers for this small ranch out there, and it's just kind of really quiet, and the solitude is great, tranquil, very nice out there. But, yeah, they don't have a lot, but they're happy.
Yeah, and you had a full moon.
Yeah, it was just about full moon. Yeah,
that's right. I know.
I set up my little tent, and they kind of laughed at me. Like I have this little one-man tent. You're kind of chuckling at it, you know.
You're the primitive, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. You guys better get it. We're all the primitives coming upon the golden land. Yeah, that's not a bad attitude to take, really. And it's true in a way, absolutely true. It's almost like experiencing that naturally is one way, but the other, you know, is true as well. And it's a very good way to look at it. I think you do look at it that way. Value, have that about you're not expectation on anything, and you're evaluating things as they are, perhaps, but maybe not even evaluating them in the judgment sense. And in some sense, these are the people that could be part of the association because they're willing, although not often the case, that they would be willing to really take the outlook on a universal perspective. But I think, let's say as an example, we were up with Mario Cypress, who has this, really it's more like a little oasis with oak trees and water pool. And there are pictures on Val's new Sunrise or Sunrise New Trail of all this, I think. Pretty much goodly documented. And so, you know, okay, that's the aspect of that reasoning to do any of this, I think you'd say. If you need a reason, a lot of times it's just like, well, that sounds like fun. Or a good thing, and that's all you need, you know. Don't necessarily need a reason that you're trying to, or we would be saying, to accomplish anything, build anything specifically. However, if I could say about the Nu Aegis, I wanted to introduce this to Rodge as an idea. It's been, let's say, given to me or shared inwardly, and I've been given a tremendous amount, actually, at that level. And this one is about this, let's say, in the more literal sense of the continent of North America, that my viewing of it is as what I call Nu Aegis, which is the natural or environmental and virtual location for the real people, and or those that want to recognize this. And it includes Mexico, Canada, United States, Caribbean, maybe even Greenland, and the Arctic north of Canada. Maybe that's on the border there, and the Arctic is its own because of the climate there is always cold, etc. So, but my view of it is something like, that there really are 7 areas around the world that could be given this positionality, and we could say that we are part of it, which we are. So it's not something I'm saying I'm creating, building, or manifesting, other than it's a recognition. And this recognition, I think, is that's one of the key words. Intention is and awareness, which happens to be, if you say AIR, awareness, intention, and recognition, is air. It's the living air. And this changes the way that we look at the globe and the world and our planet, and then our universal body, which is all connected and interactive. It's in what we could call the all is. And this includes the levels and planes and dimensions, realms, and whatever else, you know, that might be part of an ocean and a body of light and a field, unified field that we call what? Who knows? You know, here on Earth, we might call it the Earth, spelled U-R-T-H, but I'm only making up the language and terms as a way that we might be able to describe it instead of using the old terms because, or any term specifically as a difference between it, because the Earth, E-A-R-T-H, and the Earth, U-R-T-H, are not the same. And, you know, and of course, that's what we're dealing with is how do we refer these things or as such. So that's one field of interest that I think that I'm happy to participate with the new Sunrise Trail with Val, in the sense that we're almost establishing a capital, if you will, or a lookout observatory, and so forth and so on. That I originally, about 20 plus years ago, I started to recognize, and this was also coincidental with the time that DUANE was recognizing 2001 about the new whatever that is, or is what it is, or becoming of, because it's really reversed or inverted from the way that we're going to say that other things are created or orientated towards. That's very important, because then things develop in a whole entirely different way with this position and recognition point. And that's so with myself, to not going into it, but in 1968 I was young and I went to London, and I'm just mentioning it to Nikolai for fun. I went to see Donovan, who did this concert in Royal Albert Hall with flowers on the stage. It's the first concert I'd ever gone to, and it was real cool and a lot of fun. And then we visited Stonehenge with the school group that I was with, and other places, Dover Cliffs, and maybe the Queens, all of those places, a little bit here and there. But I remember going off by myself, and one day I walked around the city of London and went to the shops, partially and somewhere near where the Abbey Road walk is. And it was when the swinging London 1960s was a high fashion, and establishing all this stuff, which was also a matter of control, because they knew that the people were looking for freedom and self value expression and purposes, or just to indulge themselves in what they could, what was available, all of that stuff. And there's a bunch of different movies expressing what was going on at that time, because there was a war that was not being addressed properly, or shouldn't have been happening at all, but it was, of course, because that's the whole modus operandi. And one of the wars is against the freedom people and the hippie and New Age consciousness, etc., that was developing, supposedly. And then also the native peoples as well. And that means natives in a much broader sense which I call Aboriginals or original peoples. And the original people would be those who are established of themselves where they are. So it's not necessarily native, such as like native Indian, etc., or Afro-American, or Aboriginals, I call them. So that would be the African natives, etc. And so all the countries, of course, have these, but they're under, all of them are also under threat, and they recognize that, and they want to maintain cultures for the reason that they recognize this threat, even though the actual threat of what they're doing is this controlled factor, and establishing dominions. And I'm going to bring this full circle back to the situation here in Florida, and as one example is that the casinos are run by the Native Americans. The Cherokees one, but also because the Cherokee is so much broader in that sense, it's not necessarily let's say directed towards the actual Indian tribe. The Seminoles in Florida is one of them. The Cree is another, and there are very few remnants of those particular groups. Although you'd think that the Floridians were all over the place because of the Seminole football, Florida State Seminoles football team, which is using the name. So this is what's happened with the casino authorities, is that yes, it's owned by the Indians, but they have sold it in a sense, or we used to call it selling out. Like supposedly Neil Young was the hippie who played the music that wouldn't ever sell out. And he doesn't sell his songs for videos or advertising, that is. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter what level that is, because if the music has been bought and sold, well, that means that it has been established as an authoritarian control factor. And that's what happened with the 60s movement, the particular one that I was aware of. And it took a long time to really recognize that. It takes a lot of time to recognize these factors and how they've institutionalized, and also, though, where it came from. So that takes us to this universal position, which has something to do also, though, with the recognition of alien, reptilian, and you got a third one there, Val. I'm trying to, there's probably three in almost everything, because that's what we're dealing with, is these three levels. And one level is the strictly, let's say, a physical representation. The second one is the whole psychic dimensional, and it has to do with the emotional heart aspect that, let's say, cultures have for themselves, which is natural and is complete worthiness to it. It has nothing to do with denying any of these things. That's a very hard thing to recognize in the perspective, though, or it is something that can be recognized, and then a lot of times there's an agreement still with it. This happened to me last night when I got a message from an Indonesian Nu person who plays music a little bit, but he doesn't really do anything or provide or share anything. And when I write him, he'll say things like, "Oh yeah, but there's something weird in your agenda," like I had an agenda, and he accused me of being an old man. And, when you're old, you're naturally going to want to establish something that you used to be in love with or do. you know. And so I think, you know, he's making subtle references or direct references. At the same time, he's saying that you know, you've got all that, all his stuff, but it's not happening because why? Well, you know, it's more like you got to recognize it in the human senses, and that's all there is to it. And then we just go on, you know, doing our human thing, specifically, in other words, I think he means. And, or in other words, you know, you're just talking about something that nobody can touch, so forget about it. Maybe he didn't say it like that. I'm really paraphrasing terribly on what he actually, because he didn't say very much. He was just jabbing at me, I'd call it, and that's okay, and I don't care. I mean, none of those things are emotionally affecting or mentally. I'm getting geared up towards something. But we've had individuals with Nu who have decided that Nu was FOC, I'll say it, full of crap or whatever. And so, or whatever, you know, decided that, because we're not trying to get them in terms of a membership, you see, in terms of agreement, in terms of argumentativeness or forced position at any level whatsoever. It's just ridiculous. And I wouldn't say, I use the word we, and I can't even say that I'm saying it we for myself. Because it's not me, and I'm not representative of this we either. It's just here we are, and we've got this, at least our ears are, and eyes are being used in some way that's open, I guess is a term for it. So, Rodge, would you like to say something? Please do.
Yes, sir. I actually, I would like to say that I just want you to know that with my research that I've done, I realize that every group on the planet is a tribal affiliated individual. They were born in a tribe. The English were a tribe. Irish was a tribe. They were broke up into clans, but they were a tribe. So just as much as the Cherokee or the Chickasaw or the, you know, Seminole down there in Florida. So, and, you know, there were more advanced, they would say more advanced, like the English and the Irish and the Scottish pretty much was a predominant influence on the indigenous people that were actually inhabiting this continent, you know, when we ran into this mess. And actually, if you do the DNA migratory and you look at that data and that information, literally the information coming out that Custer, the Last Stand, that battle, the native people and the white man they were fighting actually had the same genetic blood. They were related and they were fighting each other, unbeknownst to them, right? So lots of stuff is coming out and there's a lot of confusion, and that's the disinformation that I believe that the Cherokees are putting. It's a very complex, Peter, and I would actually get on the phone and explain to you all of my research, and I know exactly how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and it's really outrageous. It truly is. It's heartbreaking. But those are the rules of the controllers, and you know, what my goal is as a just an individual, just a me. I am. That's all I am. I'm not Cherokee. I'm just standing here next to you, and I'm standing here next to Val and every other person on this planet, and I just want to be standing next to everyone. I don't want to trespass on telling you what to do. I don't want to be told what to do. I might not agree. And the reason that we're in the situation that we're in, because we were trained not to really react or do anything, just to follow orders. No one can think for themselves. So that wouldn't be me. But I feel like I'm 5 years old now, and I'm standing on a street corner looking at a whole bunch of people older than me with my hands on my hips. And they're telling me something, and I'm like, I'm not going to believe you. I'm just not going to believe it in my heart. If it hits me in the heart, then I know it's true. And I really do know that I can hear the passion and love in you and Val and what you're trying to do and the experience that you're trying to give and the message that you're trying to, you know, get out there. And honestly, it was Val that reached out to me as a humanitarian. He actually is the one that gave it a name. But all of my entire life, I have give all my time to the sicker, weaker people, not even knowing myself that I needed help, and that people that I was in my camp were really truly my enemy and didn't value me or my worth or anything. I was just for monetary gain. All the way around. It's really sad. And, you know, this is a story that I've wanted to have the time to do, but I would like to know how you and Val are going to factor in technology going forward, because as an Indigenous person, knowing my ancestry, listening to all this, I'm kind of a pioneer, and I don't want to be a hunter-gatherer anymore. I want the technology that's been kept from me, you know, for us to use for our benefit. I mean, it would actually benefit you and Val because of your age. And who says we have to die, right? We are a spirit having a human experience. Because when this vessel's gone, it's my understanding that we just live on, correct? Is that wrong? Do I just disappear? Any
No,
comments?
you're in awareness, so you are just in a different position. That's all.
Right,
You left the body form, and you're in another form,
right.
unless you recognize the real universes. You know, we call the real universes or the reality. Then you have
Well,
access to even a greater position, you could say. But otherwise, you're in another form, usually the astral body form.
you
Most people.
know, it's like I I'm just an odd person. You know, I don't, I know why things are the way that they are. I know where to go and look at and why the things are the way that they are. Now, with my wisdom and knowledge right here in America on American soil, I know how to operate as a in the Republic of America, right? Which is what they want to go back to. Do we really want to go back to that? I don't know. Do we, how about we just don't have anything and you just leave me alone and I'll leave you alone, right?
Well, what you said, we stand with each other, that makes sense. You know, we just stand and support each other the
Yeah, but
best we
everyone's
can.
so focused on who's right, who's wrong, whose way, you know, even with this redemption and all this, the golden age of mankind, or, you know, heaven on earth, whatever it is. All I'm saying is that it's going to happen, because for the fact, Rodge over here, I didn't know that we even had a choice. But now that I know I have a choice, I'm entitled to that. And I'm not going to stop thank you until I actually achieve that, a choice. Now, that's, you know, what I would hope everyone would want is a choice, instead of somebody over here telling me what I'm going to be doing with my time. No, I'm sorry, you're not. That's trespass on me. Put stress on me. you know, as much as I put stress on others. So I realized that when everything at the end of the day is everything is captured, the only course of action is the unseen and healing from the inside out. Because
Key
hurt
word.
people hurt people.
A key word is unseen. And
Well, I can't see them, but I know they're there.
Yeah.
They're there every day. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for them. They woke me up, Val. They said, get out there and do what you're supposed to do. And I have been following orders. I have not wavered at all.
Well, I see that. And that's really cool.
It only takes one person to change the whole world. And as long as that person focuses on that, puts that action, I call it the God spark. It's intention, focus, and action. And I'm not looking back. And I want my choice. And I want that opportunity to at least have something better presented that I can get behind. But more of what I have just read for 9 to 7 years, I don't want any more of that, and nobody's going to go for it. It's already been tough enough. They won't get to that point until they got nothing better to do, right? Because we're all just doing what we're doing because the world doesn't need money, right? Well, tell that to the electric company.
So the
I'm just saying.
Beautiful thing about creation is that we can create, you know, and if you want technology involved in your nature, you know, scope,
Yeah.
then it can be done, you know. It's just our choice, our creation. Right. So
okay,
as long as it makes sense and it doesn't harm anybody or the environment, then it's okay.
Well,
but the way it is now, you know, technology harms people, you know, it's poison. Well,
the technology that's been kept from us does not. Actually, it accentuates our lifestyle, and I want some of that, and I'm not going to, you know, focus on something else that I can focus on over here that's way better. Why would I want that choice instead of that one? Right?
Right. There's planets. There's this friend of mine that went to Saturn, and they have integrated technology with nature, and they have like, you know, their own version of smart houses, but you know, just your thought can change heating. You know, it's like your thoughts can change the heating or the cooling of your house and stuff. You know, the technology is far beyond what we can even imagine. The technology out there, so it can be integrated with nature, but
how come we're deteriorating? How come our bodies are deteriorating? Why? What's, you know, if we can focus on our youth and be youthful, then why aren't you guys 30?
Well, there's a lot going on here. It's not just,
I know,
we're not just focused on our bodies, you know.
Well, I know, but in order, you can be aware.
Awareness is more important.
Well, there's a diagnosis called Parkinson's disease, and it kills your whole entire body around your awareness, and you can't move. But you're aware. That's pretty cool. So how do you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, don't you think that what we put our time in ought to be able to, you know, kind of like enhance our experience? That's a better word. Do you know what I mean? Or speed up the anti-aging process.
Well, yeah, anything's possible. This is creation, so whatever you want to focus on.
Right. Okay.
It's your choice. Your choice what you want to do, but it's not just going to happen like in the other planes where you just thought manifest instantly. Here you have to work at it. So
well, if I have scars disappearing off my body, then I would say that the technology would be effective for all peoples. Right?
Well, yeah, just, you know, whatever you want.
Right.
Our focus usually here with the new friends is just awareness supersedes everything. So with awareness,
okay.
you have everything you need. It's already there. You don't have to
Okay.
desire it or go for it or push for it.
Right.
It's already there. You just have to recognize it.
Okay.
But that's a big study there. It's not just going to happen overnight. We got all
Well,
these things
right.
in our subconscious and unconscious that are restricting us from seeing it, from recognizing it.
Well,
But yeah,
like trauma and drama and,
yeah, right.
courting and, shadow working, just everything. It just keeps going. And I was roasting chicken. Peter, I'm sorry I'm taking up so much time on your meeting, but I just wanted you to kind of be aware that, I'm still learning how to be more aware and be able to have a conversation with Val. So, okay,
You're doing
because
it.
it's so complex and I'm trying to still hang in there because I really care about him and DUANE and his organization and and I really I have no problem making this Wednesday meeting for discussion. On Wednesdays I can plan that in. Mondays I can't, I just can't make. It's really a busy day for me. But I can sit in here and I can listen and I can learn if that's okay with you guys, and and start fresh, because we all are the deciders of our life, and we can you know at least I would be honored to sit here and listen to your thoughts, and if I can contribute something that's substantial, I would like to. But if it's I just don't want to bring nonsense or any kind of, taking away anything from this group, because, I'm kind of the way I am. I'm just me. And I love everyone the same. I treat everyone the same. And I don't,
Thank you.
and I don't, age doesn't matter, background, color, where you're located. A douchebag is a douchebag. So,
Well, Val's one of the fuchsia people anyway, so I mean, he's really out to lunch,
well, that's why he resonated so low when he found me, okay? Out there surfing around. Are you a humanitarian? I don't even know what that word is. But yeah, I guess since you defined it, I guess I've been that all my life. So
I miss Rodge. I miss Rodge. I know that giggle.
hello, I don't do it very often, okay? And I'm going to mute out just so you don't hear any more of it, okay? I don't want to be weak.
Practice.
I'm trying. I just got in trouble. I'm supposed to be enjoying my life, but I just don't. I'm focused. I'm using my God spark and my intention, and I'm backing that up with action. And that's in every word, thought, and deed. And that's how I feel.
That's good.
Okay. I'm
That's
not
good.
talking a bunch of S out here about a whole bunch of people I don't even know and know nothing about. People are like, Rodge, I really need to get to know you. I'm like, negative. There's the block. Okay. How about that?
Well,
I got enough on my plate. I deflect
right.
it. I turn stuff around, and those are all my gifts. I have so many. It's too hard to list. So I just do my thing in silence.
Yes.
And I love to learn, and I'm learning computer systems, and I'm just learning, and I love to learn, so I'm just a student for life. And I appreciate this invite, and I just wanted to apologize and kind of, jump in there. So you have it on
Great.
recording, okay?
Yeah, that's great.
I think
Rodge,
I've come
thank
a
you.
long way, okay? Really.
Sound great.
All right, because I really wanted to hang them all yesterday. I mean it.
I'm
And
Guys,
so-
I have to. My car is here. I have to take off. But nice seeing you
Okay.
again, Raj and Peter, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna finish up this. We could knew you, and I just
Okay.
wanted to respond with thank you all the way across the field here. We've actually, you'd be surprised. It may not seem like this is, let's say, going out, or but in the other range, it's much wider because our field of approach and space is much greater than the normal, much greater, and so it's perfect actually. So thank you, Raj, and Val, we can end the recording.